30 on my body. But it's funny, on my arms, I do get spotty, so I do wear 50 right here. And it's medicated actually from the dermatologist because you don't want to get those age spots.
No,
and I
you
think
don't.
that's really important to be able to. Young years, I used to be in the sun a lot, the baby oil years on the roof. I mean, it's amazing.
Grilling away.
Right, grilling away with your father, you're outside, but a little bit of sun is good. It gives you a little nice feeling for the summer to get the summer started.
I don't do that. I don't sit in the sun for no reason.
Unless you're at the beach, right?
And it's so funny you say you put it on your body. I don't put it on my body. I just make sure my face has
that's important.
Yeah, my neck.
Yeah, it stops from wrinkles. Yeah. You'll have sensitive spots. So.
I dump in it and I'm under the umbrella. So SPF is like super important because it will avoid skin cancer.
Absolutely.
And skin cancer is still one of the largest skin cancer, really under the radar. We talk about breast cancer, we talk about other type of cancer, but skin cancer is still very high on the scale.
Absolutely. Make sure you get scanned. Every year you go to the dermatologist, make sure they do a full body scan. So if there's anything that's suspicious of spot-wise, they can take it out or they can do a biopsy to make sure that you're clear. So that should be with your annual regular wellness
what else do you guys do for your skin for the summertime?
Well, before we go there, I would like to give the tips to our viewers there because I think is a lot of confusion about how to choose SPF and your number of SPF. So your SPF is rating by blocking, if it's going to block the A, the B, and the C, but you also have the number, and that number is actually how it protects you. So when you don't have an SPF on your skin, and let's say you burn before 30 minutes, then you should go to a higher SPF. So this is a little bit how it works. More sensitive your skin is to burn, higher your SPF is. So ladies out there, you want to keep those wrinkles away and those spots, then put that SPF on. I highly recommend. Along with it, put a vitamin C. It's a great fighter against free radical. It really helps you to fight those scavengers that make little holes into your skin and
the mosquitoes.
The mosquitoes. But you, Dr. Joan, what else do you do during summer?
For skin?
Yeah.
I love a good facial. But I don't go out. I do it at my home. So I love a good aloe. If your skin is easy to burn, go to the supermarket, get an aloe leaf, soak it so the latex could fall off of it, soak it for a little while, then peel it, put it in the blender, blend it up, put it in the freezer. I put it in ice trays, and then when I do my face, I just rub the ice cube all over.
I love aloe.
And I'm not even sunburned. But imagine if you were sunburned. That's a great way to soothe those burns. So aloe vera is
and it comes in a big jar too, so you can do aloe the beautiful way that you do the natural way. And then for kids, because they're not going to do all that, there's big jars that they sell in bottles that you can buy after being at the beach. I love aloe. For me, I do use regular cream that has a mosquito repellent in it. And back in the day, my mother used to use the one from Avon. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And believe it or not, it's still like number 4 on the mosquito repellent list now, which is great.
Is there Skin So Soft?
Yes, Skin So Soft. That's exactly it. I was ready to say Skin So Soft. That's the one.
In it or something like that because they don't like it.
Right. No, they don't like, mosquitoes don't like garlic or bright colors. But but definitely the and it's still, that was from 30 years ago, the mother's recipe of the Avon, and it's still good today, which is great.
I can't believe that mosquitoes don't like, no, they do like bright colors.
They don't like garlic.
They don't like garlic. They don't like garlic.
But Skin So Soft has been around for ages.
Yes.
And I remember using it on my kids, using it on myself, and that was one of the few things that worked.
Yeah.
So Melissa, summer clothing, because we know you're a big, fashionista. So go ahead with the summer clothing.
So for the summer, a lot of times people are cleaning out their closets for summer. So they're shifting things and they're making room for the brighter colors, the pastels, the whites. And that's really important to say, what are my staples from last year? What fits me from last year? because, we all as women and men change sizes sometimes. So you look in your closet and you say, is there something last year that didn't fit that I didn't wear? It's a year old. Let me give that to a charity. Let me get rid of that and donate. And you have room for a couple new pieces. So for me, I like new sneakers that are white and fresh for the summer, whether it's the Brooks sneakers or something else that's different, that's fashionable for the summer. Also, the hats are really great. So the straw hats, any type of hat that you have that's going to protect you from the sun is really beautiful. That would look great on you with your outfit for the beach. And then I also like to change out my handbags. I think straw bags that I brought here today for the girls are beautiful. We have these straw. We have the straw bags here, and there's yours over on the end that I think really just is great for the beach, and you can put your sunscreen, your lotions, and everything inside of here, and your flip-flops, of course. So every flip-flops are so important to summer, and also every year getting a bathing suit that you feel comfortable with. I have bathing suits when I'm trying to go to the beach with the kids that may be really larger and a one-piece, and then I have ones where I'm just kind of at the park by myself that may be a bikini or a tankini, which is good. So every year I feel like you need to buy a new bathing suit or two. And there's a lot of bargains out there. You can get them on the Real online. You can go to Amazon and just look at that. They look great on you.
I love this hat.
You're both the fashionistas yourself. You have to take that with you. That's yours to keep. So I brought some of our summer goodies. So I think all of that is so crucial to feeling good for the summer, no matter where you go, whether you're at the beach or whether you're, going hiking. There's some just essentials that you can do. And again, give to charity if you're cleaning out your closet.
Dress for success. It's a great place to go.
There as well.
Joan, grilling. I know you love grilling.
I love grilling. I love barbecue. I try not to eat hot dogs a lot, but every once in a while,
or a good burger.
Or a good burger. And I have some tips for when you're grilling out, right?
Yes.
All right. First of all, when you're grilling out, make sure you have a fire extinguisher.
All
right, because you never know what might happen. You ever see those movies where they put too much what's that thing? No, the oil or fire thing.
The thing.
The thing. And lighter fluid.
Yes.
And then you put it on there and it's and
it blows off their hair in every movie, so every vacation movie. I've seen them. You don't want that to happen.
No, you don't want that to happen.
So you need a fire extinguisher. Also, you need to put your grill in a safe place.
Away from the house.
Away from the house, outdoors. Don't say, I'm going to grill inside today. No, not wise.
And not next to your bushes
next to your bushes.
And not close to the house, especially if you have like a really big grill. It has to be further away in your fire pit area, on your deck, but further out.
Right, further out. Just keep space. Make sure you have space around it. Also, clean your grill. Don't just throw the food on there and say, I'm going to eat. This is going to be great.
Salmon with the meats, and you need to clean it off every time. So what's your favorite on the grill? What type of foods do you like? I love salmon on the grill with veggies. And I actually put it in aluminum foil and put it on there because I don't eat a lot of meat. So it's so delicious when you put all the veggies and you have a little soy sauce, and it's pretty natural and it's just healthy and great. So that's one of my favorite things, but the family likes the burgers.
I am a master in pizza on the grill.
Oh, not brick oven, but on the grill. I love it.
Pizza on the grill, and there's a whole trick about it.
Tell us.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
It's a secret recipe. We have to come over. You going to invite us over? Okay, great. We'll be there.
Our producer, April, said she loves lobsters on the grill. So I think that's something I'm going to try this summer, some lobsters on the grill. That sounds so delicious. I was like, I got to try it.
I know, lobster on the grill.
That sounds good.
You better not invite the whole crew, though.
Exactly. And then also there's
have to get a lot of lobsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else we would like to talk about the summer? Any tips do you want to share with the viewer today, Joan?
Well, we have hiking. You could go hiking outdoors. You could go biking outdoors. Just keep moving. I want to tell you guys, wellness is important. So make sure you're exercising. Make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you're moving your body. Don't just sit around and not do anything and just enjoy the sun. Move your body. And can I tell you this? Watermelon juice is my new thing. Okay?
Love watermelon.
I just put it in the blender, blend it up, put some lime and mint. And
what about you, Melissa?
I think that I love in the summer bike riding on the canal and in parks. That's my favorite thing. I live by a canal and I do a lot of bike riding there. But I think eating more veggies. If you go in your refrigerators and you clean off the vegetables and you put them in storage and they're easy to grab, it's so healthy and beautiful. And on the grill. So in the summer, I just stock up my refrigerator with tons of veggies. That way everybody can grab them instead of grabbing a candy bar or even a protein bar. It's just so healthy. And in the summer, it makes you feel good. So I like to take my bike and go down to New Hope because I'm just probably 6 miles and then coming back is the tough part. If you get a coffee or something to eat there, but I like taking those little road trips on my bike, especially in the summer. Have my little basket. I can put all my goodies in there early before it gets hot. And I do put my suntan lotion on so that I'm covered regardless of if I'm between the trees.
Also, this just came to mind. You can make popsicles. Like I do a lot of juicing. So I do a lot of blending of greens, of kale, parsley, whatever. Make your juice and put them in popsicle trays and make popsicles for summer.
I love popsicles in the summer. It reminds me of my youth and my childhood.
So my tip to you will be, you want to catch some rays, catch them early in the morning or late at night. If you're in the full bloom of noon or the afternoon, make sure you put your SPF on. But one more thing, just go out in the morning and take few deep breath and just be thankful and grateful.
Do some yoga.
Yes, that's what I do every morning next to my pool. It's so awesome.
So relaxing.
Yes, so relaxing. So we are going to have a guest joining us in a few minutes or so. But before that, we would like to remind you, follow us on the Gab Show New Jersey group on Facebook and join the show on Thursday, June 23rd. You will be able to see Margaret Joseph that was live with us. And it was an amazing experience. Girl, say it to the world. How great was she?
Margaret was such a phenomenal guest. She resonated with everyone, from the people in the audience to the viewers to us. She really gave a lot of herself for that particular show. She's wonderful. The Real Housewives of New Jersey. She plays a major part for business women, and we can all learn something from such an entrepreneur.
Yeah, she was great. She was really candid, really open, and she just told it all. She didn't save anything. She didn't hide anything. And so she was really great, as far as telling us her story.
I truly enjoyed that there was so much more than her. When I first heard about the Housewives, I was like, oh my God, I haven't watched that show in forever. I don't even know what's happening. And it was nice to read her story in her book with her own words and her journey with her own mom and how she has forgiven and embraced her mom, even though with all the challenges and the ups and downs of relationship, and that there was more content to Margaret Josephs than the persona at the Housewives. And I think that was really an eye-opening for me to see a woman as a whole. I think many of us, sometimes we just see a character on TV and assume that's all they have. But there's much more to her.
She was so much deeper. I agree, Esther, 100%.
So we are back. Welcome back. And Melissa is going to we have our guest. And thank you, Esther, to joining us. And Carter. Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you, Carter, for being
Carter.
with us. We're so excited to have you. Thank you. Carter is our guest, and we are here live. And Carter Patterson is the VP of Programs at the Father Center of New Jersey. Fancy title there, Carter. Moving on up with that title. And, we're here talking about Father's Day. And the Father Center of New Jersey really empowers men to get to that next level in life and become the best father for their family. Absolutely. And to really contribute in every way they can to be a great contributing man in the community. So I want to ask you a little bit about the Father Center of New Jersey. First of all, a little bit about their mission, and also maybe tell us about a success story, because we love success stories and seeing people really achieve greatness as a father.
Absolutely. Okay, so the Father Center is the oldest child welfare agency in the state of New Jersey. We're over 160 years old. So a little bit about the history. So we were started in Mercer County by a group of young ladies, young ladies, by a group of ladies a little bit after the Civil War, believe it or not. And the Father Center started off as an orphanage, and our name originally was UIH Family Partners, right?
Absolutely.
It's a mouthful, right?
It is.
But the UIH is an acronym for Union Industrial Home for Destitute Children.
Wow.
So the Father Center existed in that form for, a little over 100 years. And then we became a group home for teenage mothers in the early part of the 50s and 60s. And we existed in that way all the way up into the early 2000s, where we started to do fatherhood specific work.
Yeah, I like that transition, Carter. And I know the branding was just a few years ago from UIH, the Father Center of New Jersey. So I congratulate all of you for really looking at the mission and taking it to the next level. So tell us about a success story of someone that's been through one of your programs. Really specify which program it was and how they succeeded with the help of the Father Center of New Jersey.
Okay, so that's difficult, right? Because we have so many men come through the program. But one of the gentlemen that I would like to kind of highlight his story, and his name is Jamal. Right. And so Jamal he's a young man. He's in his early 20s. He was just starting, this journey of becoming a father. But we have to take a step back because Jamal had a really tough history, right? Jamal, was traumatized as a child, had to go through many different kind of abusive relationships, and he was bounced around from one group home to another. And so eventually when he came to us, and it was a referral through one of his caseworkers, it was a very, what I call a warm handoff, right? Because in our organization, we like to wrap a warm blanket around the men we provide support for. And that is not treating them like a client or a case number, but a real human being, right? And so Jamal was treated like a real human being. A warm blanket was wrapped around him, and we were able to provide him with all of the support services that he needed, like job development. We helped him develop his resume. We referred him to a psychological counselor because he needed that kind of stuff.
A lot of people need that.
Because a lot of times men come through our center and they just want to be heard, right? And they just want to be acknowledged, And sometimes men, they get tired of always being looked at as a provision and as a resource, right? Because we can also be nurturing, compassionate caregivers.
You sure are.
And we cry too.
Yeah. You have a lot of empathy. You definitely have a lot of empathy, Carter.
That is so awesome. Esther we were saying the other day that we don't empower men enough. We talk about women empowerment, always empowering women, but we seem to get lost in empowering our men. So what are the qualifications that the men need to go through this program?
Okay, so that's the wonderful thing about our program is that they don't need anything initially, right? But in order to come through and to receive all of our services, they have to complete an intake, right? So an intake, which is that we collect all of their demographic information and all the information about their background, and then we develop a plan for them, right? And so once that intake gets completed, it unlocks all of our services. But in regards to our awards, because we have an award ceremony coming up.
Platinum Dads.
And and just a little bit of history about Platinum Dads. We're a little over 17 years old now. Platinum Dads was actually started by a former executive director before our current fearless leader, Karen Andrade Mims. Yes, if you love Karen, she is the mother of the Father Center. But the Platinum Dads celebration started about 17 years ago, and we highlight men in the community who are real dads, people and men who are connected to their families, and they are consistent, healthy presence in their children's and their families' life. And what happens is that they get nominated by the people that love them.
Nice.
And so that's the part that I love about it. That's a really organic process with the choosing of the Platinum Dads, because it's the family members that lift them up.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It really is. And you honor over 15 people usually hugely, and the ceremony is unbelievable. I have to say, a lot of events have so many different moving factors, but that event is really just about the men and their stories, and it occupies the full event, which is different than many. So congratulations. How many honorees? 17, 15, something like that?
Yeah, there's a little bit, there's definitely over 10. I don't want to misquote the actual number because then we get in trouble. But I will say that there's a special part of Platinum Dads, and there's the Robert E. Alston Award. And that award is usually given to a seasoned dad, what we like to call pop, right?
Yeah.
And it is so super important that there's this exchange of information. We call it the intergenerational transmission of wisdom. And that's what happens when you have an older father pouring wisdom into younger fathers. And that's what that award is all about.
Very nice.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
This brings me to exactly to that point where is the class customized to the father skills? Do you learn the skill set before you put them through the process? What is the take on that?
Okay, so usually the thing that I love about the Father Center is that we like to model exemplary fatherhood behavior, right? And so we do have females on staff. Of course, Karen is the mother of the Father Center, but we have male staff, and the male staff really model exemplary fatherhood behavior, right? And so the idea is that the men come in and they see a reflection of themselves, right? And they see a man or an example of a man that they could be and want to be. And so how we help them kind of skill up with their parenting, we do have an evidence-based curriculum that we use called 24/7 Dad, both AM and PM. So the AM version is for like the new dad, and then the PM version is for the older dads. Right? So we do have evidence-based curriculum, but I think the most powerful piece is that having really strong men who are real good fathers as a part of our staff.
Yeah,
I
so the
agree.
mentorship is like
Absolutely.
super important.
And Carter's one of those. If we
Yeah.
can talk about that later,
Absolutely.
Carter.
Oh, I definitely
5
will.
children.
Yeah.
I have a comment and a question. I want to say that if you've noticed, who've written the most romantic music have been men. So they are sensitive.
I love
They
that.
they do have emotions. I think sometimes we forget as women because we see them as strong and we rely on them, and sometimes we forget to just say a good thank you, I appreciate you, things like that, which I am doing much better now in my new relationship.
Oh, I love that. We're gonna get started on Saturday.
Yes, yes.
Then the other, I was going to ask you, what are the common that you see across the board when you're getting these young and older men who are going through your program? What is the most common pieces that you have to reinforce in your people who come in? Like, what are the top 2 or 3 things that you notice? We always have to go over this or over that.
That's an excellent question. That's an
Excellent.
excellent question. And it kind of fries my noodles to kind of think about it. Right?
Of course, I make the difference.
But the one thing that I can say is that we always share with the men that in order to connect with your children, you don't have to have stuff. You don't have to have things. In order to connect with your children, you just have to show up and you just have to be there. You just have to be a healthy, consistent presence in your children's life. And sometimes it does not take things. It does not take toys. It really just takes a phone call. Sometimes I even suggest a handwritten letter that you would send to, now, especially with adult children, because I have 4 adult children, 3 adult children and 1 11-year-old. And sometimes with my oldest, connecting with him is hard. He's an adult. He's a captain in the Air Force. He's an engineer. So he's an accomplished young man. But again, my parenting has to be different for him. And then so in order and especially when we have any kind of issue, and we've had an issue in the past, it was a handwritten letter that was able to bridge the gap. And so just sharing with men, you don't have to have things. You don't have to have money. You just have to show up and be your authentic
It's so
self.
interesting you say that because somehow we have taught, and I'm going to say the women because we're the moms, have taught our boys to give a gift to the girlfriend, to take her out, to do things. And we kind of are putting that seed that it's the stuff that gets them into those relationships. So I'm glad. I'm going to go back home and
You don't need the stuff,
That's
Carter.
what we're here for.
I have a question for you,
Yes,
Carter.
yes.
Now, I got kind of lost I guess I got a little lost. So these men, are they just men from the area? Are they from prison? Are they like reformed felons? Where do these men come from?
How do they get referred to you, and what walks of life?
What walks of life?
Those are excellent questions, and we get men from all walks of life.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't go all the way down to, I don't want to say down, I don't want to be condescending, but we're working with a young man who's 14 years old, who is going to be a father. And so we're working with his family, right? And then, yes, we also work with men who have had a long period of incarceration and are coming home. And then we work with men like myself and just other dads who want to learn how to talk to the children about sex,
communication and sex,
drugs,
and,
right? And how to fill out a financial aid application for a 4-year university. And so it's, and everything in between, you know?
It's across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
So job placement, you help them with the training, the job placement. Yes.
Talk about that one job program that you have. It's really
so
important.
that's exciting. So our job development program is called Bridges to Success, and it has been funded, for the past, I would say, close to 8 years now. And what we do, we offer high-level, entry-level credentials for the men that we provide services for. So we do things like OSHA 10-hour general industry. Then there's an OSHA 30 certification. There's a ServSafe certification. There's forklift. And then we also got a grant from the Bank of America to do commercial driver's license. So we got like 5 guys that went through Smith and Solomon driving school in Bordentown, and they'll be graduating over the next several months.
And there's such a need for drivers.
Yes.
Got the CDL. And then on another, Carter, on another note too, you also have the clothing, like Dress for Success. We have a satellite office with the Father Center within your organization in Trenton. But tell us about the clothing and when they get the jobs, how you suit them as well.
So
I love that part of it.
So let me first say, we have a great partnership with Melissa and Dress for Success Mercer County, and you have a satellite inside of our office, which is fantastic.
So we help the women and they help the men. So it's a great
they help the
partnership.
women and we help the men. And so when the men go through our program, it's the Bridges to Success program. And once they complete their certification courses, they are allowed to get 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, and all of the accessories that are going to go along with it. The great thing is that we also have a barber, right? That will come and to do an actual barbering, a haircut for the men. We also provide shoes and workwear too. So that is super important because the place that we actually house the clothes, the California Closets donated a really, really high-level closet. I mean, it's awesome.
Amazing.
I mean, you would look like as if you were in a boutique in Beverly Hills. It was fantastic. So the idea is that the men come in, and when they see all of these clothes, again, they walk out with their dignity. It's not. It doesn't feel like social services. It feels like a boutique.
It does.
And
they gain that confidence.
Right, and they get that confidence. So when they walk back out into the world, and that they have this armor that we provided them through the Father Center.
I have a question. Aside from parenting, I noticed that you spoke about parenting. You know, I could imagine that a person that was incarcerated for a while, being a husband, it's a big.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's hard because here's what I heard from Steve Harvey a long time ago on the radio station. They were reading a letter, and it was a gentleman who had gotten out of jail and came home. And Steve Harvey was saying people don't realize how if they went in at 28, they come out, they're still 28. They're not really, because they're not exposed to the everyday activity. So how do you guys talk about that too? And
so that's so important that you bring that up, because we had made reference to the intergenerational transmission of wisdom. So those older male staff, they have that awesome responsibility of helping kind of restore the pride and dignity of the men, especially after they've served a decades long imprisonment, and coming out, just being able to transition back into the real world is very, very difficult, because there's trauma that they have to deal with. So we have to move past the trauma and get into this space where we're actually healing, right? So the idea is that we also have not on staff, but we can give reference to a mental health counselor, right? Because those kinds of issues are important, because a guy comes out of jail and they immediately want to go to a job. Well, no, dude, you need a transition period before you get there, because we have had experiences where we've put a man in a job, and like they lose it within a couple of weeks because they don't have the emotional
they're not used to interacting and teamwork. And I think the family counseling that you also refer to is important too, so that the whole family is involved, not just the male, which is great too, so that they can bond
also
together.
When you have such, a baggage, if you want, emotionally it comes through it everywhere you go. So you got to have the system to, help you to break it down and refill it with something good. That is amazing. What is the 22 Robert E. Alson Legacy of Fatherhood honoring?
So that's that really good award that we give specifically to the older gentlemen in the community.
Are you allowed to give out who it is yet, or is that okay?
No,
that's going to be a surprise that day.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So it's for the older gentlemen in the community. It's for those men who act as mentors to the other fathers, or those men who are the established dads in the community, and they can give some of that wisdom to the younger fathers.
That's
awesome. As you can imagine, with working with a young man who's 14 years old, and he's going to be a father. And let me just share something really quickly with you.
So young.
Yes, and let me share something really
But it's
quickly.
reality, definitely reality.
So as a 14-year-old and a soon-to-be parent, the 14-year-old has a capacity to love. Right. The 14-year-old, I'll just say it again, the 14-year-old has a capacity to love, and that's what we'll share with him and his family. The parenting piece will all work together as a team, but that 14-year-old can absolutely love that child. He can love that child, but he is still a child himself, right? And she needs to be allowed to express that, because what that newborn needs is love. Right? And that 14-year-old can give them love. The parenting piece will help as a team.
How is he right now with his emotion? Is he in a place where he wants that child, or are you worried, or is he blocking all this?
It's difficult, right? Because you can imagine, like, even adults have a hard time expressing themselves and being in contact with their feelings. So I don't really think it has hit him yet, but I think our approach of working with him, his family, and the young lady's family is the team approach. Because what we would like to say to them is that the 14-year-old is capable of loving that child. But he is also a child, and we need to love him, in that process.
That's the male gets scared. They get scared. And so even I know 25-year-olds who are like having this kid, and they're like, oh my God, and they run for the hills. And that's why we have so many missing fathers out there, because they get and then people don't realize that's why they run. They don't have a clue, So you're doing a great job, and I can see you're so passionate about it, and I love that.
Let me ask you, how did I gotta give kudos to the family or the person who brought this young couple to you, because
it was a social worker from a school. Actually.
Oh my gosh, she you understand like the power. She just empowered that family to go through such a challenging time, instead of fighting with each other, arguing with but collaborate together with good resources. Kudos to the woman who took the time to take care of that.
Carter, how do people find you? I know that a lot of people get referred to you, which is most of the people. That way they have a support system coming in, and then you're the additional support. But how do they find you? Tell us about your new location, which is beautiful, and where they can locate you.
Good. So we moved from 4 North Broad Street to 1 West State Street, which is very fancy. It's an historic building in the city of Trenton. It used to be a bank, actually. So it has these very cool features to the building. But we have the entire 5th floor. We're very excited about that. What was the other part of the question?
And where they can
email. So how you can get to us? Well, we usually you can get to us by our website. So it's at www.thefathercenterofnewjersey.org, or we get referrals directly from the state of New Jersey, because we've had a standing contract with the state of New Jersey for a little over 25 years. And then since we've been such a stable in the community for such a long time, people walk in. Right. And so so we do accept walk-ins through our kiosk system, right? So because we do want to keep all of our frontline staff safe. So initially, all of our initial walk-in clients have to go through our kiosk system and then set up an appointment with the client service specialist, and then that person sets up the appointment with them. So
great process.
And then we can also go through our social media handle as well.
Right.
So we have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also Instagram.
Great. Very accessible. Thank you, Carter.
Are you the only center, or you have other satellite offices throughout New Jersey?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm glad you asked that. We do. We have an office in Mercer County. That's our main office, and then we have an office in Burlington County as well. Yeah.
Nothing up north like Newark.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's next.
I did do some work with the 8th Street School in Abington, Abington Elementary School, with Mr. Echeverria. We had a daddy-daughter tea about 7 years ago, so we may be looking at going back.
So when I first moved to Newark, New Jersey, when my parents were transferred there as minister, I went to Abington.
Yes.
Get that relationship going.
We got off of Platinum Dad for a second, but let me bring it back.
Okay.
So what does a person have to do to be a recipient of one of those awards?
Well, I think that they would have to be an excellent, healthy father, right? That they're an actual part of their children's life, and they can demonstrate that. That person is someone who is actually proud of being a father, right? And is excited about being a dad. And I think because of the nomination process with the Platinum Dads, it's the people around them that nominate it, which I think that makes the process that much more natural and organic, right? As opposed to picking individuals who can just fill up a table, right? Opposed to pick an individual who is just for the name. No, we pick individuals based upon their fatherhood, right? And their fathering, and the people around them kind of substantiate that.
Yeah. So I love the fact that you're honoring Al English this year.
Yes.
What an awesome story he has. And you have that event coming up soon.
The Platinum Dads is not this Saturday, but it's the next
Father's
Saturday.
Day weekend.
It's Father's Day weekend.
Yes,
the 19th.
I do have to say the cast of people that you're honoring, it's from consumers to big people in the community to it's a combination. Tracy Syphex, who has one of the best stories I've ever heard, and I'll let him tell the story that day that he's being honored.
Dr. Pruitt
from Thomas Edison, and he retired. So he's probably one of the legacy people, I would say, after all he's done for Trenton. So congratulations on a well-rounded cast of honorees, because they wear that with a badge of honor. I mean, you meet people. I talked to somebody the other day, I won't say the name, and he said to me, "I'm a Platinum Dad," because he knew I was affiliated. And he wore that badge of honor because of everything that you've done, and really gave him to the community to say, look what he's done for himself and for his family, which is the most important role you can play, is being a father. So.
Right, and let me say, in the most important role that we could play at Platinum Dads is just like limiting the speeches, right? Just talking about how men don't have a voice. I mean, dude, they can get up there in 20 minutes.
Especially with the 15 people or so.
That
sounds good.
That's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love the fact that there is an organization to help our men. And I do believe that many times we have gone the other way of empowering women so much. We have forgotten a little bit of recognizing some of the men who have influenced and changed lives.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. A little bit more than a little bit. As a mother of 3 boys, to me it's important to see that balance. I often talk to my boyfriend and I say, it's okay to empower, but without diminishing our partners, which are our men. Together we can do great things. So
if I can.
Oh, sorry, Carl. I wanted to know how the community could help you, so you can answer and then tangle that.
Right. So the community can help us by looking at your own family and wondering, hey, does the father or any male figure in your family, do they need help? Do they need resources? And if you do, and if you think that they do, please send them to us, right? Because we are a one-stop resource for dads, right? And it's not just if you need a hand up. It's just if you need somebody to talk to, or if you need a resource. And one of the things that I want to share about the Bridges to Success program was that all of the guys that have gone through the program have completed the certifications. Once they complete them, they actually earn $5.40 above minimum wage.
Wow.
Right? And so just with these entry-level certifications, like they're able to do that. So I was excited about that. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my children. Can I do that?
Absolutely. Let's hear, Carson.
So I have 4 very beautiful children, right? So I have 4, 2 boys and 2 girls, right? So my oldest is an engineer in the Air Force. His name is Afari. Then my youngest is Noah. He works in Heightstown. Then I have Summer. She just graduated from Rider University 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
And I have Amara, who is 11 years old, and she's going to Princeton Day School in the city.
Nice.
Yes,
That's
so
great.
very excited
She's
about
adorable.
that.
My nephews go there.
And so the Princeton Day School was great enough to give us a great financial aid package.
Oh,
that's great.
So I'm very, very
Congratulations.
excited about that. But the one thing I will say about my parenting in particular, because I had a far eye when I was 19 years old. And, you know, parenting changes. But the thing that I will say to you and to everyone is that throw everything that you believe about parenting out the window. Right?
True.
I want my children to see me, right? They see me, they see my flaws. Sometimes I have a potty mouth.
Yes.
Sometimes I make bad decisions, right?
All right.
But I'm here for you, right?
Yes.
And I'm honest, right? And so I don't usually try to play that, hey, I'm your father, you listen to me. I'm more like, hey, I'm going to give you the respect as an individual so that you can return that respect to me, right? And I think that it's worked because my 22-year-old daughter calls me to go out for drinks on Thursday night. Right? Yeah.
So you're a friend later in life, but not earlier, which
exactly,
is great. You were there for that.
exactly.
Carter, what made you get into this type of work? Was it you being a father so young? Tell us a little bit how you got into this and what it means to you, how it resonates.
Yeah, it really means a heck of a whole lot to me. I grew up without my father. I never knew my father, never met him. It was just me, my mother, and my sister that grew up in the city of Trenton. And you know, so my mother never really, never really talked about him a lot. The 70s was wild and crazy. Let me just say that. You know what I mean? And so
We weren't there.
We weren't born yet.
We weren't born yet.
Right. So that's what my mother told me, right? And so I never, you know, so it was always super important for me to kind of grow up and to pour into my children all of the things that I did not have.
Right.
I can't even imagine because I don't want to go into tears right now. I remember going to try out for West End Little League, and I stood on the corner and I watched the dads and everybody kind of go playing catch back and forth. And my mom tried her best, and like she brought me a baseball glove from Woolworth, right? And it wasn't, it wasn't a real leather glove, and it wasn't
Close enough.
But I never walked across the street.
No.
Yeah. So that little boy stayed there, and I never wanted my children to feel like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So just watching that from across the street and looking at my own glove, and you know, so I turned around that day, and then I said to myself, I never ever want any one of my children to feel that way. You know, so.
I have a question actually based on that. Is there anything that perhaps you have with your children that you did and you regret?
Wow. So just this thing that is listening more closely to my children. So my oldest son, Afari, you know, he wasn't speaking to me for a while, and I wondered why. And I finally had a chance to, you know, we sat down and talked about it, and he shared something with me that was not on my radar. You know, a few years ago, he had his car blew up, he lost his girlfriend, and you know, was having problems with this specific job that he had during the summertime. And he said to me, "Dad, you acted like I didn't care." Yeah. I didn't remember anything, but it was so important to him. So what I would like to share is that listen to your children because your words are tied to the coils of their heart. Right? And like it really, what you say resonates.
Moment.
Yeah, what you say resonates with them, whether or not you think it or not. And like I'm still apologizing to him because I didn't know.
He didn't see that in you. He didn't feel validated in his issues, and you were there, but you didn't express it enough. So we have to become as parents even better communicators and fathers.
And I think it's really all across the board. Meaning, I think that we often just don't listen as a person. As a human being, we just don't listen. We have so many things in our brain.
We gab.
Well, you know what it is? It's because there's so many different levels, and the word listening is very broad. But are we listening to understand? And most people, we listen to hear or listen to answer. Have you noticed that when you're talking to someone, you start to talk your situation, and the other person already has an answer? Listening to understand I think that's more like understand his situation, and I get it. I remember my son lost a run, and I was like, you just need to work a little harder. He was like I just left my lungs in the track,
right?
And we say things like that. We don't really mean to hurt, but we do.
Also, they watch. My kids call Mom, I love you. Text Mom, I love you, because they watch to see how their father is treating their mother. Thank you so much.
It's so great to have you.
Thank
the
you.
Father Center of New Jersey. You're going to stay. We're going to talk a little bit about Father's Day.
Yes.
About our father.
Yes, all right.
Right. You know what? I'm so excited about Father's Day, because like the Dad Center, the Father Center, Father's Day was started because they saw women's Mother's Day was there. And so this girl called Sonora Smart Todd, she saw that her dad, who had 14 kids, he was twice married, he was widowed. So he was taking care of both the wife's kids. So that's 14 kids. And she saw that her dad was working effortlessly, and he was a great dad, like, you guys produce out of the Father Center. And so she went to a Mother's Day service one day, and she says, why not dads?
Right.
And so she was 16 years old and started to petition to get Father's Day written into history. At 16 years old.
Wow.
But listen,
in church,
she went to church to a Mother's Day service.
Wow.
And she said, well, why
That's
not?
where she had the revelation.
Why not? Yeah, she had a revelation like, well, why not the fathers? My dad has 14 kids and he's doing his best. He's doing a great job. He's a great dad. So she went and petitioned for Father's Day. But listen. It wasn't until 58 years later.
58?
Did you say 58
1972. That
years
Woodrow Wilson wrote it and made it a national holiday honoring fathers. 58 years later. She
still involved?
She passed away shortly after that.
She got to see that.
She got to see
Kudos
it.
to her.
Wow.
It all starts with an idea. That's
16
amazing.
years old. So, Melissa, tell us about your dad.
Oh, my father is such a wonderful man. He taught me so many great lessons. He's somebody that always gives his words of wisdom, and for a reason. So he gave me so many great things in life. He was a singer, and through songs built my confidence. I used to be a wedding singer, and I actually sing with him at different events, parties, and we did weddings in younger years. So he is so wonderful to my daughter, which is amazing. He validates what I do as a parent, which is nice, especially going through a divorce. So I have my dad there as just a wonderful figure and a male figure for my daughter. So he's just an amazing person altogether, and he's very active in my life, and he just gives a lot of joy to our whole family. And he's a wonderful husband. He's been married to my mom for years, and he gives all the gifts all the time. So I'm expecting a gift for Father's Day for me. No, he doesn't go that overboard. This isn't right. But he's a very giving man, and really set the standard of what I'm looking for in life from a partner, a lifelong partner.
Very nice. Very nice. Esther, how about you?
Well, I grew up with a fantastic stepfather. Look at him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Passed away already. 10 years ago already. He was in his late 90s. Lasted a long time. Strong man. He came into my life when I was about 9 years old, and I was challenging.
I don't believe that for a second.
Not you. Slide.
But he took his time to really, get to know me as a person, because I was coming in at 9 years old. He was very tough, very, very strict, strong. He had hands like there were hammers. I remember always his hands, because it was like he would stand like that. He was a pastor. Mm-hmm. He would be in the pulpit sitting, and he would be twirling his fingers, and just a strong man. But one of the things that I remember, many advices that he gave me was he said to me, a woman should be honored, and you should always expect that. That's one. The other one is, if you cannot keep your word, and this is what he said, you're nothing.
Wow. Good words of wisdom.
Strong, tough words. And I remember that not all the time that he was able to take me to work or to school or whatever. And I remember that I had to go to work, and he said, he was a pastor of other pastors, and he says, I have a meeting and I would love to take you, but I cannot take you. And I said, Dad, but it's 2 buses. He goes, you keep your word.
Wow.
You get to
So
that
you
job.
leave early, you walk to the bus station, you take all the
That's
buses,
right.
and you get there on time. Keep your word.
Mm.
Otherwise, you remember what I said.
The accountability.
They used to say back in the day, your word is your bond.
Your word is
So you
your
got to
bond.
keep your word.
So
That
he
was
was
good advice.
old school. He was much older than my mom. He was 30 years older than my mom.
Mhm.
So of course he came with very strong old fashions. But I have to tell you that that because he was such a strong man and a great provider, he also was very loving to my mom, and I think that's probably one of the challenges in relationship, because he would always go to the refrigerator and make sure that we have milk, eggs, and everything. Every morning I would see him, look at the refrigerator and stuff. But the key thing was that when he would go out, he always brought a bag of whether pistachios or M&Ms to my mom, and my mom would hog it. She would just give us one little piece. Anyway, he was so loving.
That was
nice.
Miss you, Dad. Miss you, Dad.
Nice. Gabby, tell us about your dad.
My dad was actually like yours. He was an artist. So he was a watchmaker by hand.
Oh.
And actually he was also a musician. So he sang a lot, and he played harmonica all the time.
Is that you?
Harmonica, that's beautiful.
Harmonica. He passed away, but before he passed away, he actually was an awesome person. My dad was one of those that completely at the opposite of yours, where he will be like, you have a choice. So you can do this or you can do that. And I will be,
make the right choice.
Just tell me what I need to do. No, you got to figure it out.
That's smart.
So, yes.
Very good.
So I have a couple of minutes to talk about my dad. And kind of like your dad, Carter, he was there, but he wasn't there. And so I struggled with this question. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? But I want to say the good thing. So he runs marathons. He did his best. All dads do their best. There he is. He was a good dad, he did his best. And, I'm of the mindset that everybody does their best.
That's all you can
and
do.
the best is if whatever their
do.
best is what they know. And so he did what he knew to do. He didn't have the father center, but he did what he knew to do. And so we love him for that. And I just want to give a shout out to my husband. Okay. He is one of the best dad. I nominate him for a platinum dad. I'm going to give him the award. Look at that guy. He's a big guy.
Awesome.
My kids love him. They honor him. And they honor me, and that's how I know he did a great job.
Yeah.
And so I want to say this poem.
Absolutely.
It's called Fun Dad, Wise Dad, Kind Dad, Strong Dad, Fair Dad, Sweet Dad, Best Dad, My Dad, Your Dad. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's
We honor you, stepdad, bonus dad. We honor you today.
Carter, being that you're on the set with us, and you're not on the script, but what is your father?
He told us.
Meaning, do you want to say a message to your father?
Well, since I've never met him, and from what my mother shared with me, he had died before I got a chance to meet him. Just to say that I'm a good father.
That's
now.
right. That's right.
I love that, Carter.
Yeah.
And you've learned a lot of lessons from what
Yes.
you didn't do, and you've become
Absolutely.
such a strong advocate for men all over. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for that, Carter.
Yes,
you are an
thank
amazing
you.
Well, happy
person.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Turn up.
All right.
Margaret Joseph.
Yes, to everyone out there, remember to follow us on the Gab Show New Jersey show on Facebook. And remember to mark your calendar. Next week, we're gonna have the Margaret Joseph show, and again, she was absolutely fabulous. Now, to everyone out there, we are Central New Jersey networking, a community television. You can go to our website, cnjn.org, or to our Facebook page. And if you feel like donating or sponsoring perhaps even this show or any of the other show that we broadcast here at CNJN, feel free to make your donation through the website. But again, thank you to
Carter could give
everyone.
his website again.
Yes,
Carter?
absolutely, Carter, please.
Yes, if anyone would like to contact us through our website, it's www.thefathercenternj.org.
And don't forget this summer to wear that sunscreen, enjoy the beach and everything fashion. So there's a lot of great fashion out there and trends.
How gorgeous is this lady with her blue dress and her blue nails?
Yeah. And let's show her fashion
embracing the summer. This was one of the colors, right? That you
chartreuse or something.
What was
Celine.
Celine, yeah. Whatever it was, it's just
I like that.
It looks beautiful.
Remember, next week, Thursday, don't miss the Margaret Joseph live public show that will be broadcast at noon.
And I think I'm going to invite Carter to my watch party at my house.
right.
You're all invited. I'm going to have a watch party, okay? We'll invite everyone. The mother of the Father Center, Karen, can come, and everyone. Let's watch it all together. We'll have a great
So is
time.
it going to be on cable TV as well?
It's on cable TV, it's on Roku, and it will be streamlined as well. And remember, the Gab is taking a little break till September. You will see us in the community. So if you want to see any of the other past show, go to cnjn.org and see and watch our past show episode. Otherwise, see us around into the community. And
I want to say, don't forget, honor those men in your lives. Honor
Happy Father's
all
Day
the fathers.
to everyone.
Happy Father's
No matter where
Day.
you are. Happy Father's Day. And you'll see us bike riding and at the beach. We're going to have a lot of fun this summer. So
me in that hat.
tune in.
Yes.
Put your hats on. Get your sunscreen going.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, viewers.